Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I'm back with another installment for our junk journals. So what I'm going to focus on with this one is what you can do with paper clips. So I've got two different colors here. So there are some gold paper clips, and I have just the regular ones that you can get, just the silver ones that you can get at the dollar store, which are fine. Now the ones that I get are usually, when you measure them, they're just under 2 inches. And the gold ones are just a little bit longer, but basically they're just under 2 inches. So we're going to do two different things with the paper clips. One of the things that I'm going to show you is how you can just bend the paper clip up. I saw this on Deborah with Attic Lane and what she did. Now she does this heart thing. I can't figure it out, but I'll definitely link to her down below. But one of the other things that she did was just curl these ends. So I'll be showing you that, and all you will need is a pair of wire jewelry tool thing with rounded edges. All right, you definitely want the rounded edge going on. You don't need cutters. And then I've just got some cardstock because I'm going to make some banners so that your paper clip will come in on the side of your journal, okay? So those I had in the other one, and of course I'm looking for that now. And you want to make sure that when you're creating these that you know which side you're coming in on. So if I pull this back in, so I'm going to show you these, and you can see it's really cute the way that it just curls, and then that's what it looks like. It's actually holding this tag as I'm off screen, holding this tag, and that one curls in on the inside. So you can do either way, go to the inside, go to the outside. And then I thought I had another one of those in here. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. And then one of these where you have your banner coming down, and you just embellish it. And then you have this piece that goes along the long edge. So again, you always want to make sure that your piece is sitting the correct way so that you're always on this side of your piece. All right, so I'll be letting you know, what you should cut this down to, and so forth. So let's get started. Let me get that out of my way there. So the real easy one, and again, you have two different sizes. This one's just under, or just measures 1.25 inches. And what you can do is when you grab your tools, so I'll do it on the small one here. I just take my tool, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. I come in on this area down here. I slide up. So now the paper clip is between my two tools. I grab a hold and I bend towards me. And I'm trying to stay straight with the wire. And I'm just going to continue to bend towards me. Once I have it bent, and I think you can see that, and I'm like, oh, as I throw it, because I always do that in one of my videos, so I'll just do that because it looks like it's easier seeing. Then I'll come in, and I'll pick that back up towards the end of my tool, and I'll continue to bend forward. So I'm just rolling my tool along the edge of the paper clip. So now I've got a further bend. I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to continue to roll it until you can see my tool is flat. I'm going to come out, look at it again, and now I've got a really nice curve going on there. All right. I'm not pulling it away. I'm just curling towards myself. I'm going to do the same thing. So here I come in between these two areas. Can you see that? So you can see this wire, and then I can just slide her up to get to the edge. And then again, I'm going to start the bend towards me. I'm going to pull out. So now I've got that little lip there. I'm going to come back in on that edge, and I'm going to tilt it so that I can continue to bend it towards me. And I'm going to continue to bend, to bend, to bend. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to pull out, and you can see she's not curling yet. So I'm going to come in just on that little tip there with my tools, grab a hold, and my finger is holding this here because, you know, when you get your paper clips from, you know, your dollar store, they are kind of they're thinner. They're not a thick wire. You know, if you're a jewelry maker, you know what I mean. And now you have those cute little designs, and if I put it on a piece of cardstock, and that will tell you too, test it on a piece of cardstock so that in case it's not even, you'll feel it scratching on the paper. Now, usually what I do is I do have another tool, and they're flat. So they're flat pliers, and I'll just push along that, flip it over, and then do that again. And then that just makes everything flat along that edge. So again, I just have that going on nicer, and it just gives a little bit of a design. Now you can put ribbon on the end of this. You can put just a small piece of silk on that if you want. You could add a piece of thread with some beads coming off of it just to have some dangles. Or again, you can just leave it just like this, and it just adds a little bit of difference or interest to your paper clip. So that's just, you know, your basic bending. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do this on one of the large ones. I'm going to come down here, slide up so that I can get onto those edges, and I always slide out. I'm going to grab a hold, and I'm just going to hold it, and I'm going to start bending. I'm going to come up again, because you will slide out. It's okay. Try not to go too close to the edge, and then just bend her close, come out, pick up that edge again, and then bend towards yourself. So now I've got that closure. And if you pull this out, just squeeze her in, and then that'll get it closer. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to come in, I'm going to bend it, I'm going to pull out once I start the bend. I'm going to grab a hold of that again, and then I'm going to continue to bend that towards me. If I slide out, that's okay. I'm going to take my tool, come back in, and continue to curve that. And now I've got that curve. So I already can tell that these went a little crooked, and since this is bigger, I can just take this, bend it down, same thing, come in here, and bend that edge down too. And then we're flat. Same thing, put it in here. Now, I can tell that that edge is catching right on my paper. So I'm just going to come in. I'm going to take these flat nose or flat edge, and I'm just going to bend it down just a little bit. Look at it, and I can see that it's back in line. I'm going to look at that other one and do the same thing. So these are, again, obviously paper clips. So this wire is very pliable. It's very workable. And now I'm coming on and off that. So something very simple can just add some interest to your paper clips, give you just a little bit of decoration off of that. Okay, so for the next ones, so I'm going to use my big gold ones here. So again, you want to make sure which way you're coming in. Do you want it to come this way, or do you want it to be attached coming in this way? Because then that will determine which way this paper clip is going to sit. If you're coming in this way, you want it to sit this way. All right, let's do that because it's a lot quicker. So you want the 2 loops to your right and the single one to your left. If you want it coming in on this side of the paper, then you want to make sure that the long edge, not the broken edge, is at the bottom, and the 2 loops are on your left, and the single one is on your right. So I'm going to do one of each. So I'm going to work on this one coming in this way. So I have some strips of cardstock here, and the best result is to cut these 1.5 inches wide. Now you can cut it at 1 5/8, because if I take this piece of cardstock and put it here, you can see I've got some wiggle room. So 1 5/8 is fine. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold it in half. So we're going to create a banner that comes off of our paper clip. Now, this piece of cardstock can be any length. This one happens to be 4 inches long this way, so 1 5/8 by 4 inches. This one here is a little longer, so this one happens to be 4.5 inches long, 1 5/8 wide. So you can make them however long you want. Just know that the longer you make them, the longer your banner is going to be. So I'm going to take this, and before I put that on, I am going to fishtail this. So I'm just going to come up, and I'm just going to do one side, come in from one side, come in from the other, and then I'm going to fold it again, and then I'll be able to use that as my template so that it is even. All right. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to thread it through my paper clip. And I'm going to close her down. So again, making sure if you're coming in this way, the 2 loops are in the direction or on the side in which the direction you're going. So I'm going to grab my glue. And again, I'm using my Beacon 3-in-1. And I'm just going to put some glue down. But before we do this, I'm going to pull this back out because you all know what I forgot. We want to make sure that we ink. I like to ink around my edges. And you only have to do one side because this will be glued together. All right, so now back to where we were. Making sure my paper clip's the right way, putting it in there. Now I'm going to add my glue. And you don't want to go all the way up to the paper clip. You want to keep that open so that this can move just a little bit. You want it to be able to slide back and forth, so you don't want to go all the way up there. And again, these are just 2 ways that I do some paper clips. I'll be showing more of these, and there's so much that's out there on your YouTube, so please, I encourage you to check some of these wonderful ways that people do these things that's out there. So we have our base started. So here you can just have fun, literally, and just create your pieces. So I do like to grab my one script stamp here. I'm just going to go right in that, and I'm just going to stamp down just to give some details there. So I've got like a little background going on. And for this one, I'm going to use one of these butterflies, and I really like this one. So I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to use my straight edge scissors right now. Just going to cut this out. And again, these are some stamps that I have in my collection that are in my stash. And I'm just going to cut right along that edge. And I'm using those pattern scissors that you can get at your local craft store. You can also get them on Amazon. You can get them just anywhere. These are by Fiskars, and these are the mini pinking scissors. I really like these. Fiskars makes a great pair. They're a lot solider, or solider? Yeah, I don't know if that's a word, but they're firm. Okay, they don't feel like they're going to break. You can get the set. There's like 12 of them at local craft stores, and these do work as well. I just really like the feel of these. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab, let me put my cap on that. I have my fan going and I don't want that to dry out. So I'm going to grab all kinds of stuff here. There's a few oxides that I always keep by me. So I'm going to grab my broken china. I want to grab my fossilized amber too. Here we go. I'm just going to use a makeup sponge. And I just want to add some color. So I'm going to come in. And then I'll use the other side for my fossilized amber. And then with the fossilized amber, I'm just going to come all over that. So the beauty of the oxides is they don't dry right away because they're that dye and pigment ink. So you can smush it together. So I got like all kinds of different colors there. Just a little bit of an accent. You don't have to. You could have kept that very plain after you stamped it. And then of course I'm going to come in. All right, and of course we go around with our either our vintage photo or potting soil. Either one is fine. And then I just have some piece of muslin scraps, and I'm going to snip in, and I like to tear it. And I'm going to do that to all four sides. And you want to come in a little bit because sometimes when you rip it, it won't catch. So I'm going to come in further. See how it, sorry about that, losing my voice here. So sometimes depending upon which way you're tearing along the paper, you have to just keep trying until you grab it. But I just love these loose frayed edges. I just think it's cute looking. And if that's too big, just go right down the center, and I'm just going to continue to shred that. The threads I don't keep, yes, but I am going to keep that piece. So here I can just set this here. And then I can look at what this will look like there. And I'm liking that, so I'm going to use my glue. I'm just going to put a little bit on here. This glue bottle is giving me such a hard time, but that's okay. And I'm just going to set that up there. And then I'm going to set this like this. So I have that little piece of fabric. I'm going to set this down. And then once that's set, I can let that hang off, and I'm good letting them hang off the edge, because again, it adds interest, it adds, makes your piece a little bigger. This banner basically is just the base so that you can just keep building and building and building and making how you want that paper clip to look. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I love using, Tim Holtz from Ideology came out with Big Chat. Now, you can make your own. I've shown those in a previous video, but I figured this would be, you know, a little quicker. So, I am going to use, when it comes to butterflies, I love the Dreamer. So, I'm going to grab that. And of course, I need my black cardstock. Where's my black cardstock? I believe I'm missing my black. I do like, whenever I use my words, I do like to use black cardstock to set them. All right, so I'm just going to cut a section of this out. Yes, we learn to play yoga when we create because we always forget to grab something, right? And now I lost my word. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's nice that there's stickers. I'm just saying. Now, I do like to add, even though it's a sticker, I do like to add just some of my glue down because then I know it will stick. I will set this down in the corner, and then I will trim around it. Again, not worried about if it's perfect, but it just kind of sets it off. Now, what I also like to do is take like a black, since this is written in black, now you could use brown as well, but I do like to take a black pen and go around my words sometimes. It helps just to accent them. That's what that looks like. And the ones that I use, these are by Arteza. These are really nice and really inexpensive. Now, these are water-based, so if you add water to them, they will move. But I just love the point of them. I think they're just great. So all I do is I hold down the black, I come down with a line, I go the other way, come down with a line, go down with the other way, and then I just keep doing that a couple times. So to make it look sketchy, so to speak, have to make things look sketchy, and then that is just our sentiment. And again, don't have to put one. I always like to. So I'm going to put that down towards the bottom. And I'm going to cross that right across that there. Just going to hold it for a little bit just to make sure that it keeps itself straight. Now, we're missing some pops of color, but this is what we have so far. And what I have is, these are the butterflies by Stampers Anonymous. And what I did was I have a lot of the multicolor value packs, or I have one value pack of all of the multicolors. And, you know, they're nice and they're bright. So when I stamp some of my images to just keep them in a pouch, I do use my potting soil. So you get these colors, and you can embellish them any way that you would want. You can add colors to them with colored pencils and so forth, but these are ready to go. So the only thing I have to do to this is, of course, ink around my edge, because that helps it to stand out just a little bit. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this broken china back in. I want to see, I'm going to test it. I want to see what it looks like. Let's see, do I want that? So you can see what that would look like. Curious to know, do I want the fossilized amber? Oh, I think I want the fossilized amber. Or do I want the... No, let's try the fossilized amber. So I'm going to come in just in the corner and just push that across. Again, it just adds some color. I'm going to add some of the blue. Just dab that in. Again, just using a makeup sponge. Nothing fancy. Gonna come in with some more of that blue again. And then spread that out. So you can see by using these, you're not covering up what you stamped. You're still able to see it, but it just adds some more color to it. I'm gonna bend this, and I'm gonna put glue right, I'm gonna wipe that. Just gonna put some glue down the center. Where's my, there it is. And I'm gonna put that right over that butterfly that's stamped, because now I've got antennas. I'm gonna hold that in place. Make sure the antennas are coming off the way that they should. And that's our piece. So you can do a lot of collages. There's so many versions of these paper clips that I was inspired by. But just to create these collages, do you have to have a banner? You don't have to have a banner. You can just have the flat piece of cardstock as your base, which is what I'll be showing shortly. So pretty soon I'm going to show more of cardstock coming in and how that can hang down below. But that is our first one, and once that's dry, I can play with these wings and prop them up. Now, of course, when they're in the book, they'll squish down, but you can just keep having fun with them. And again, I'm coming in this way, and I'm putting that there. Now, the other thing that you can also do is I like to, you can curve this and you can curve that. It's okay that this piece is on there. I can still do it. I can just come in with my tool. I'm going to keep my hand right on my paper piece that I created here just to protect it. And I'm going to bend towards me. I'm going to come in, grab that edge. I'm going to snap off. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to keep bending. I'm going to come out. I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to bend my forward. So there's that one. And then I'm going to come in with my flat ones because I know that one's crooked. I'm just going to bend it down. And I can still come in with this one as well. Even though my piece is on there, it's okay. Because you know what? You will forget to do something. You know, we say that we have steps and we can do things in certain order. Trust me, I do it all the time. I am always forgetting something. Come in there with my flat ones. And the reason why I do like these flat ones too is there's no teeth markings on the inside, so it won't jar up or mark up your paper clip wire. All right. And you can see, got to move that down. Always have a test paper with you because it'll tell you before you put it in your journal, and it's not, that's just me sliding across that. And that's what that one looks like. And if I put it on a piece of cream, you'll be able to see that. So that's our first one. See? Simple, right? Have fun with it. So I'm going to set that one aside. So the other thing that I like to do, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to bend it. And I'm going to snip one side off. I like to use longer scissors for that because then I can do it in one swipe. And I'm just going to do that. Okay. I'm going to ink this up. And then I like to do it along the bend. All right, and I'm going to set that aside. Now, the other thing, if you have some pattern paper, now's a great time, can give you some great, you don't have to do much when you have this here. So what I'm going to do is I have my other piece here, and I'm going to build on this. So I'm going to create a collage, because what's going to happen is this is going to be my front, and then what this is going to do is this is actually going to cover up this edge. So I'll be gluing that there, and when this folds over, it's going to hang down. Okay, so this is going to extend off of this. But what I want to do is I want to build my collage on this. Oh, must have cut myself. So I'm thinking. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to tear it. So you don't even need a pair of scissors. And I'm going to place it. Oh, perfect size. Look at that. And I'm going to actually come in with that. And I want that to sit there. So I really, really like that. I do want to keep it the width of this when it comes to the papers. So I'm going to ink this up real quick because you know I will forget it. All right, so I have that piece there. I do want some other pieces behind that. I'm going to grab Not sure if I wanted to do that, but we're going to go with it anyway. So I'm going to put this one down first. I love collaging, or just layering and layering and constantly layering, and I'm just going to swoosh over that. So I'm going to take this, and you know what? I lied. I'm going to let this hang over just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to grab my glue. See, for some reason, I'm not sure if this glue, I may have left the cap off of it. It's almost like it got really thick. All right, so I want to do that right there. I'm going to real quick lift that up. And I want to set that in place. I am going to grab, make sure there's no glue there, because of course there is, because then it would have stuck to my paper mat. I do like to use my small brayer off of my Spellbinders in One tool. Helps to flatten out. It's me. It's not necessary. I do want to trim this side though. All right, so I have that rough edge now going along that. I am going to come in now and I'm going to ink around my craft, just in case somebody should see the other side. We've got that covered. All right, so now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to set that one right along that edge. Not worry too much about what's going on up here, only because this is actually going to sit on that like that. All right, so we're going to grab our glue. Oh, this glue. All right, and we're going to set that right there in that edge. Sometimes when we tear, we do it right. Very, very right. And so far, that's what we have going on. All right, now you can leave that like that, and I think I'm going to, because again, when this is sitting up in here, you have that going on now. All right, so you have part of your piece is actually covering this. All right, so what I do want to do with this one first though, this little tiny piece is perfect. I'm just going to ink that up. Notice I got smart and I have not put it on my paper clip yet. Just saying. And I'm going to have that sit like that. And that's still going to, oh my. That was a bubble. Just saying. Sometimes these glue bottles have a mind of their own. How about you? Did you ever notice that? Just saying. And I'll have that sit there. Here's that little piece of fabric. And I think I'm actually going to have that coming across like that. I'm just going to put some glue right down the center on that, just to tack it down. That's the beauty of it. Sometimes when you collage, you don't have to, now I'm sticking to everything. You don't have to worry, oh, that's not all the way stuck down, because you're going to have other pieces coming in, if that, you know, if that makes sense. All right, so I have that. I'm going to get my word picked. So I'm going to use this again. I like everything. So I'm going to choose everything. Sometimes simple words can do so much. So I'm just going to put this down. Again on my black cardstock. Forgot to put glue on that as well, but that's okay. These are pretty decent as I'm cutting this off camera. They do stick pretty well, but I do like to add more glue to them just to make sure. I can even take this and again, have fun with your creating. Change up as you keep going. Lord knows that's what I do. And I'm going to have that, if I put this back in there, do I want that there or do I want that there? Let's see. Not sure. That's going to go on last. I am going to draw my lines. It's a good thing you don't have to be neat, right? And I am going to grab my next one and I'm going to real quick curl. So I'll probably just speed through this because you've seen it, but yeah, you know what? Now I'm going to show you again. I'm going to curl it. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to bring it towards me. I'm going to grab that end, just curl that in. Got that. Come in, bend it towards me, come back in, keep bending. You can tell I definitely went crooked on that one, but that's okay. I can just take it, grab it, tuck her in. Gonna look at the side. This one definitely need to come up. Gonna grab her and I'm gonna twist her down. Now it's flat. Okay, so now remember, this one I want to come in from this side of the paper. So I want to do this. All right, so remember, my two loops are going to be on the side in the direction that I'm going. So I want those, since I'm going in, coming from the left to the right, I want my two loops onto the right-hand side. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to thread this through now and let that hang over. And I'm going to open it up and I'm just going to put some glue down on here real quick. I'm going to bend that up so I know. See, this glue bottle has a mind of its own. Again, not going all the way up to the top. And then I'm going to set this right in here. I'm going to hang on to this just a little bit so you can see how I'm just holding, and you can see she's even. And you know what? I put it on the wrong side, but that's okay. We can fix that. So we're going to put that there. Now I have this strip right here. So I'm just going to put just where those papers meet, I'm just going to put a very thin line going across, and now I'm going to bring her down and I'm going to close that up. We're going to clean that. All right, so we're going to clean that up. I'm going to cover that, don't worry. So now I've got a flip. It just creates something different. You know, it's just something a little different. As a matter of fact, I don't like that, so I'm going to trim that off. So I can take this now, if I want, and put that right there. And have it come up underneath that piece, because then people will know, oh, look at that, yeah, there's something up underneath there. Okay, so to fix the back, because it's what we do, right? We forget things, right? Exactly. So I'm going to take this, and all I'm going to do, I've got that. And I'm going to make this a little skinnier. So see how easy that was? All you have to do is just cover it up. And again, do you have to? Absolutely not. You know, that's fine if you have that there. There's not a problem with that at all. Add my glue. And I'm going to make sure that is just sitting right along that, and I'm going to set it up on an angle. Because if any of you have seen my videos before, we don't do anything at 90 degrees, very rarely. And then what I can do is I can come in with another piece of cardstock. Like maybe you really like that flower there, which I do. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to tear that. I like that edge. I'm going to keep that like that, and I'll be able to cut along that. Get some glue. And I'm going to go right even with that edge. And again, I'm okay that I'm going off that edge there. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to trim this side. You know what? I think that's not my sentiment. I think that's going to go right across that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, we can also, I'm going to take, I think this time, I'm going to use my scalloped. Just a different look. And the reason why I did that, it just broke up what was going on up there. So I'm going to set that right on top, and then I'm going to put my sentiment down across that, or my word. We like words. And we'll have that coming across just like that. Make sure you got no glue sticking on there. There you go. It's a little long, it's different, but again, it's going to look great on one of your pages. So make sure, I'm going to get everything out of the way here. So if I find a page, let's say if I look at this one, I can just set this right there. And we've got that coming down. Now here's the beauty, guys. Here's the wonderful thing. So if I grab, so here's a piece of pattern paper. I'm going to fold this in half. What I can do, I've created a tuck spot coming off of my paper clip. And it's going to hold in there. Absolutely. Okay? So again, just a couple different ways. I'll be showing more in future videos of what you can do with your paper clips. You can do something just as simple as taking your clips and bending them using some simple round edge wire wrapper thingies, because don't know what they're called. Jewelry tool. Let's just go with that. You can create a long double layer piece when it comes to your paper clips, or you can make them very short and then just keep collaging on top of that as well. So many options here. So I do hope you give this a try. I do hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I was able to teach you something here. Besides, don't get frustrated with your glue bottles, because you will. Oh my goodness, this one is amazing. This one's having way too much fun. Just keep them clean, keep your caps on. Always put the cap back on. That's where the problem comes in, I think. But again, I do hope you enjoy this. I hope I gave you some tips, maybe some inspiration. I know I am always inspired by so many that when I'm watching my YouTubes when it comes to the paper crafting world. The products that I used will be listed down below in the video description. And again, I've already started a list of items that are either my must-haves or my staples, and I will just continue to add to that list. So if you wanted to check out any of these items, please do so. They'll be there for you. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe. You can see paper is my medium to create the base when it comes to this wonderful world that we are in. Anything with paper, and it is there. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell, because there's always something different that's coming up. I hope everyone's having a great day, but always remember what's most important for me every single day. Always be creative. Till next time.